The quick fuse, I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes sir, not a follower. Fit the box, fit the mold, have a seat in the foyer. Take a number. I was lightning before the thunder.
Thunder, 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 thunder,
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder, thunder. Kids were laughing in my classes while I was scheming for the masses. Who do you think you are? Dreaming about being a big star. They say you're basic, they say you're easy. You're always riding in the backseat. Now I'm smiling from the stage while you were clapping in the nosebleeds.
thunder, 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 thunder,
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Ceremonial Witch back again. This is my first episode of what I'm calling the new season. Realized a few things before I get into it. That if I'm going to be self-defecating of my channel and all that and saying, things like I'm out here telling people to not curse themselves, and then I'm kind of doing the same thing, calling my channel, amateur hour, this and that. And, as much as that is true, how am I going to expect anything to reach other people, just because I'm not in it to make money. By saying those things, I'm going to limit myself, and I'm actually going against my very own teaching. So I kind of realized that was silly and stupid of me. So I just, I don't know if I can do a 3-hour show or anything like that, but they were offering a sale, and Birch has a few videos about how magic works, and, go big or go home is one of the steps, don't cheap out on things, don't do the bare minimum and expect big results. You want big results, well, you also have to put money out to get money back, you know what I mean? So, so I bought a bigger package, and I figured out how to make the music not sound so shitty. Because, the way I enjoy actually putting music on there, especially music I feel has a relevant meaning to either what I'm talking about or just, hidden occult meanings in general. That's what I wanted to put on there. But lately I haven't been doing that. I've actually been using Frederick Xavier's voice on the Mind and Magic channel, which I don't want any backlash or, him to get upset with me doing that. But I do it out of utmost respect and to show where I get the information from, so no one thinks I'm just stealing it from other people and claiming it's my own. I've never done that. I always tell you exactly where I get the information. I actually break this down into the show. I started taping this show yesterday that I'm putting on today, and I only did a 10-minute segment, and then I didn't do anything else yesterday, and then today I did a 20-minute segment, maybe something like that, and then I did a 40-minute segment after putting a clip of Mind and Magic, something that's relevant to programming water, I want to say, and realized that I went way over. So then I turned it into 2 shows, And then I decided that I'll buy the bigger package since it's on sale anyways. At least do it for this month, see how far it goes, and from there I'm going to put all these segments that I did together, all together in this one episode. So right now I'm actually live for once on the channel. So if I talk about things like, because I talk about someone reached out to me and thanked me for whatever there. I'm not going to say her message. But she said, give me some constructive criticism about the shitty audio. And by all means, yeah, she's definitely got a point. My music, my songs, my talking signs, my recording, it was pretty shitty and pretty low sometimes. Very hard to hear. When I listen back on my episodes, it's like, holy fuck, I can't even hear it. You know what I mean? I got to turn it way up and then the music comes on and it's deafening. So I am going to do my best to raise the level and make, if I put music on, make sure it's good. And if not put music on and just do books. So I talk about this a bit during there, but that's before I bought some music that I can play that doesn't sound like complete garbage, and before sorry, 1 second, my daughter was coming in here. But anyways, that was before. Some of the things I get into is before I bought this package and made this 2 episodes. So when you hear me initially talking about how I already recorded the 2nd episode and this is the 1st episode, I ended up changing my mind and I'm putting it all into one episode. So I just wanted to clear that up. And so that being said, let's go into a song real quick, and I got a few more things I got to talk about before I get into all the information and all the recorded stuff. So yeah, let's see if this song works as well.
Loneliness, a little bit of disregard, handful of complaints, but I can't help the fact that everyone can see these scars. What I want you to want, what I want you to feel, but it's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you to just believe this is real. So let go, watching you turn your back like you always do, face away and pretend that I'm not, but I'll be here cause you're all that I got. I can't feel the way I did before, don't turn your back on me, I won't be ignored. Time won't change this damage anymore, don't turn your back on me, I won't be ignored. A little bit insecure, a little unconfident, cause you don't understand to do what I can, but sometimes I don't make sense. What you never want to say, but I've never had a doubt. It's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you for once just to hear me out. So let go, watching you turn your back like you always do, face away and pretend that I'm not, but I'll be here cause you're all that I got. I can't feel the way I did before, don't turn your back on me, I won't be ignored. Time won't change this damage anymore, don't turn your back on me, I won't be ignored. No, hear me out now, you're gonna listen to me like it or not. Right now, hear me out now, you're gonna listen to me like it or not. Right now, I can't feel the way I did before, don't turn your back on me, I won't be ignored. I can't feel the way I did before, don't turn your back on me, I won't be ignored. Time won't change this damage anymore, don't turn your back on me, I won't be ignored.
Alrighty, sorry about that. I just trying to really test the songs and all that. I really want to make sure that I'm not making it sound too shitty anymore. This is the first time I'm actually live on here, except for just correcting a few things that I made mistakes on in the past. But anyway, so I talk about a whole lot of stuff before I talk about the actual thing, the water. I think I only get into water a little bit in some of the second recordings I downloaded after the first initial video, but you're going to see the lineup I give you is going to be the first recording I did yesterday, and then it's going to be the recordings I did after my recordings I did the first ones today. Anyways, the lineup's a little fucked up, so I want to apologize for that, and it's going to be the last time of this amateur hour self-defecating ceremonial witchcraft stuff. That's why I put it all in season 1, because that was my beginning stage, wetting my feet, getting used to it, and I gotta take my own advice now. And today was about water. The initial message was all supposed to be about how to program water, why to program water, how water is, it's an element, just like we use candles, the fire, we use the incense as offerings, we use incense to get the spirits here to be around us, they like that. Smoke to incense, smoke to spirit is like water to fish, which is like air to us. You know what I mean? It's what they prefer. But every element, including earth, you can use to manifest. You can use the ground outside. Planting and stuff like that, putting seeds in the ground, manifesting. We use that as metaphors all the time for our mind and stuff like that. But you can carve sigils into the ground. You can make things into the ground. Draw things, ask for things, and you can make that work. And I'll probably have future episodes about the little things I did like that. I've never used water in big ways to make stuff because I've never done much research on it. I decided to look into it after I heard this episode that you're going to hear multiple clips from Frater about. Because for me, water represents emotion. It's your moon. It's your subconscious mind. It's it's emotions. It's water. It's your subconscious mind. It's Jupiter, the moon are both attached there. Saturn as well. It's a way to get in touch with that. And I'm pretty sure you start learning this kind of magic and stuff like that when you hit that grade. However, I did my own research and I get into telling you guys exactly what you see a lot out there for what they say to do. And I think I've already said this, but there are specific things that I didn't tell you that other people will tell you to do for watching water, like visualizing in it, rubbing your hands. I don't necessarily rub my hands, but visualizing your attention in it like a flame and all that. And like I said before, that's what I do. Now, for me, because like I said, I never took Frater Xavier's programs, his fire and water program. But he says the simpler, the better. One word on either the glass or if you're doing the spell underneath or sigil or whatever. Now, I don't do that. I've done small sentences and sigils, and it's worked for me. I've also done multiple different little, like I said, you didn't hear it yet, but in one of the recordings I tell you that I have about 5 or 6 of them ready, and I have 5 or 6 sigils ready. And this is going to be the first time doing that many, but I have done 2 at once, and it was basically for banishing and invoking, getting rid of emotional block and inserting a kind of a mindset and having the corresponding emotion, getting rid of fear and invoking love. I've said it before in previous episodes that you can do magic, like say you want to manifest a lover, a husband, or you want to manifest money. Well, if you have programming in you, emotional blocks also in you that stop you from manifesting things, like if you believe in the Bible, was raised on the Bible, and your Bible tells you that money is evil, or even magic is evil, either one of those, just by replacing that, you're going to see more money come to you. It's not going to be like, saying you want this much money and getting it, but technically that should be your first step. And I've went over this, identifying your emotional blocks, identifying your programs, and then removing them and inserting the ones you want should be your first step always. And because water magic, to me, it should be, maybe not should be, you can do whatever you want, and people have had success, and I have had success with things other than just trying to change your emotions, okay? But for me, the first ones I didn't get any of this. I got into all the procedure and I ran out of time, or I thought I did. I made a second episode supposed to explain this stuff, and I didn't even get into this stuff, and I didn't know how far along I was, and I wanted to put Frater's videos and stuff on there. So we got a big mashup of a bunch of recorded stuff. So it's, like I said, this is my first episode of the season 2. It's technically like 2 episodes into one. And it's going to be kind of all over the place. I'm going to try to structure it the best I can, but it may not make so much sense. But please, I hope you just extract the information that you need out of it, and it works. And going forward, I'm not going to be so self-defecating, and I'm going to do my best to actually deliver good and great episodes, actually, with great content, good songs. And like I said, if I can't keep the songs going well, then I will just I'll just stick to putting books and stuff on there. But anyway, so my first time using water magic was to get rid of an emotional block. I had some emotional blocks concerning, you know, things that happened in the past with addiction, with my father, and different things like that I was holding on to, and I was fearful of a few things, and that was rooted in and fear is an emotion. So the first one I was doing was working on that, and you know, when I wasn't sure if it was gone because I was getting these little life tests, the second time I did banishing and invoking one. So it could be argued that the first time when I did it, it actually worked, because there was a point in time where, you know, a lot of the things I was fearful of, like I went and I've talked about being afraid of spirits before. It was one of my initial fears, and I'm no longer afraid of spirits. This is one of the things that helped out with that. Now, I didn't single that out, but I had it involved in there as one of my fears, and I truly believe this is one of the things that helped me out. Now, the first time I tried using water magic, it worked as far as I'm concerned, but I didn't replace it with something, you know, with the love of the spirits and working in harmony with the spirits or something like that, you know, being grateful every time I know I'm in the presence of the divine, instead of just saying I don't want to be fearful of spirits anymore, or I'm so grateful that I no longer have any fear towards thought forms of spirits and other divine entities that I cannot see. It was something to that effect. That's not word for word, but you can use it if you want. I only said that, and I didn't invoke anything. So for a time it worked, but then whenever it ran out, you know, nature put something back in that place once I got rid of that water and all that, you know. So the first time I actually used 2 cups. Now, you don't have to do that. You can program those both intentions into one thing of water. But like I said, I use both. Now I get into much more detail whenever I'm going to play these recordings for you. There's a lot more detail, but it's at the end of probably one of the second last or the last one I'm going to play on here. So it's a little bit longer of an episode. So if you don't like long episodes, I am sorry. Shoot me an email and tell me that, and maybe I will make episodes for, you know, there's enough people that like it short and sweet, and there's enough people that like it long. Well, then maybe I'll keep the Magic on the Budget channel very short, to the point episodes, and I'll make this one a little longer and a little more ranty with songs and all that. You know, I want to do what people want. You know, and if people just want the point and just want the info, then I'll just give them the info. And if people like the roundabout, and you know, because there's specific ways people learn. Sometimes hearing a story is a better way to extract a message, and sometimes just getting to the point, giving procedure, is a better way to learn, and all and everything in between that as well. So that's that's basically what I wanted to talk about here, and to just give you guys a heads up. Another thing I wanted to say was I talk about how a fan reached out to me, and that was very awesome, and she gave me some constructive criticism and all that. She also asked if I could put links in the description for all the books. And I thought about that, and I probably can. However, because I get the free PDF versions, and or I watch them on YouTube whenever they are, like Outwitting the Devil and the Kabbalion are both on YouTube. I can't really. I mean, I probably could, but I'm probably not going to do that in the foreseeable future, because, however, I had sent this fan, this girl, whoever, fucking Hellfire Goddess or Goddess Hellfire, I sent her 5 books that I can remember that I've mentioned. Financial Sorcery. Anyways, I talk about this later on, but the only thing I want to add is if anybody else out there wants them, I give my email later on. It's on the speaker site. Feel free to hit me up. And the other thing I wanted to say is I said the same thing to her. If anybody wants me to talk about anything, go over anything specific I already talked about or anything like that, or any ideas for any new episodes, you can also send me that, and or and if I have done it, I will get into it and give you what I did. And if I haven't done it, well, then I will do some research on it and maybe tell you how I would do it. Or if you have done it and you know you want to share your insight with me, well, send me a message or whatever. Maybe we can work something out and do something together. You know, I wouldn't mind fucking, you know, because I'm not anyone special. Now, I do like talking about this stuff, and I love studying this stuff, and I'm getting results, because I wouldn't be able to be home not working and still paying my mortgage and paying for my 2 car bills and everything else in between, and supporting these 4 kids. Like, this is what I'm doing, and I'm enjoying it. But I don't want to come off as being an adept, because I'm not. I'm always learning as I go, and by teaching and doing this, I'm always learning more information just by releasing this information. And sometimes just in the middle of going over my notes and what I wanted to talk about, I get more insights coming to me as I go. Today is a really good day for that, being that Mercury day. I've already ranted at my wife over and over again when we were gone shopping earlier, because she just had her surgery and she's already gotten a few compliments, and she wanted to go make herself feel good about buying some shorts that a few sizes lower. And I told her, well, it doesn't matter if you keep changing that number. If you're down to a size 7, you don't want to be a 5 and then a 3 and a 2, and it's not there. You got to change. It's in your head. You got to change. She just rolls her eyes at me, and she knows I'm right, but she's never going to do it. I told her, just do the simplest way. Do the Earl Nightingale way. Like, write down that you are so grateful that you are a size 5 or 7, and that you are happy and comfortable with your body, and you love the way you look, and that you're so grateful for being in the health, or the healthiest you've ever been in your entire life, and that you always find clothes that you like, and your clothes always fit, and you never have issues. You know what I mean? And that you don't have a hard time. You love eating healthy food. Some people say they can't eat healthy food. Well, if they just program their mind to enjoy the healthy food, then they're not gonna have that problem anymore. But anyways, so I was very preachy and ranty with her, and I told her, I'm sorry, this is, Savannah, which is our daughter, who's very much got a lot of Gemini, airy stuff in her chart. We call her airhead. Like, how Savannah is all the time. Well, that's how I am on Wednesdays. And, here's the proof. I did 2 episodes already, all this recorded data, and now I'm alive, and I'm still talking about basically the same shit over and over again. So I'm gonna have to cut it off here and just play the recordings and stuff like that. But anyways, hope you guys enjoy. Like I said, if anybody wants me to do anything or say anything or talk about anything, hit me up. Anybody wants to be part of the show and come on here, you can always record at home or something like that. I offered that to the person who reached out to me, and so she's going to be the first one in line if she wants to do that. By all means, anybody can do this. Go on Spreaker. They offer you just sign up and you get 15 minutes for free and make your own episodes. And you don't qualify for the revenue, I don't think, the ads, until you buy the first package up, which in Canada is $7 a month. But yeah, but if anybody doesn't want to pay for that, I'll gladly share this with everybody and anybody, especially if there's a lesson to be learned. And if anybody out there is an adept and here's me saying anything that may not be accurate, well, I would like to be corrected, and I'd like to know exactly how and if you're just somebody who doesn't resonate with me but hasn't tried this stuff or isn't manifesting things, well, then maybe just try to have an open mind. But you can still reach out to me, and I'll totally listen. I'm doing this because I want to help. I'm not doing this to make money. If I make money in the process, great, but I'm already getting what I need, and I don't really have to worry about money, and I really don't. Whether it's not being able to pay a bill or if we got a ton in the bank, I don't worry about it. I'm not going to focus on it. It's great to have it, but I enjoy doing what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to take my own advice and stop being self-defecating and kind of making fun of myself. And I do that because there's probably still some programming in my mind that feels that I'm maybe not worthy to teach or anything like that. And, I'm probably right about that. I am probably not worthy to be teaching this stuff, but I do want to just be another voice out there that is saying that this stuff is real, being a counter voice against our current culture where you got to work every day until you're 65, and then you get a few years to spend whatever money the government saved up for you because you couldn't save your own money because life is so goddamn expensive, and then you either lose your partner and then you start going crazy, or you get diseases and then you die. And I don't think that's how anybody should live. And I want to be proof that no one has to live that way, because I'm not living that way anymore. And I want to help everybody achieve that. So there you go. Anyways, I'm going to go to another song there very shortly. Let's do the Hell song. That seems fitting. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the show. It won't be a whole 3 hours, but it's going to be a little longer than usual. So if you don't like that, like I said, let me know, and I'll try to cater to you as much as I possibly can. Have a good day.
Problems. Everybody says the same thing to you. It's just a matter how you solve them, and knowing how to change the things you've been through. I feel I've come to realize how fast life can be compromised. Step back to see what's going on. I can't believe this happened to you. says the same thing to you. It's just a matter how you solve them. But what else are we supposed to do? Part of me won't agree, 'cause I don't know if it's for sure. Suddenly, I don't feel so insecure. Part of me won't agree, 'cause I don't know if it's for sure. Suddenly, I don't feel so insecure anymore. Why do things that matter the most never ends up the end we chose? Now that I find no way so bad, I don't think I really need a head. Why do things that matter the most never ends up the end we chose?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Ceremonial Witch here, back again, and we are now starting a new chapter in the Ceremonial Witchcraft episodes, and I'm pretty excited about it. So before I get into the whole programming water and all the different ways I've done it and how I incorporated these ways into different magics and how I've reaped the benefits and things I've manifested and gotten from it, I do want to take the time to thank everybody once again who tunes in. I am very grateful for anybody who listens to my shitty sounding amateur station, radio, podcast, Spreaker, Ceremonial Witchcraft, and Magic on a Budget episodes, but I do really appreciate it. Actually, I got a message from someone. What was her name? Hellfire Goddess or something like that. I'm sorry I got your name wrong. I should have been prepared, but I want to thank you for your message. For what you said to me, and even the constructive criticism about my shitty audio, which is why I brought it up. And you're bang on. I got to do the best with what I got. Like I said, I haven't manifested millions, but I am able to manifest and stay home and keep practicing magic and talk about it and do my thing. So I'm already luckier than most, and being luckier than most, I want to teach the rest how to do this. We all have these abilities and powers, and most of us want to understand them. Some of us already can use them, and the rest, which is probably the majority, don't want to believe it, and just of two people, being Frederick Xavier being the ceremonial, and witchcraft being the Birch, Freak Phil, Uncle Birch. Them two guys are extremely important, and the basis of the whole first, I'll call it season, but the first 30 episodes on Ceremonial Witchcraft were based off of those two guys' works. I actually put some of Frater's stuff in there, just small clips of it or whatever, and I do have plans to do that with Birch's stuff. I just don't want to piss anybody off and steal from anybody or do anything wrong, so I've been holding off. But anyways, the point of what I'm just saying is the fact that Ceremonial Witchcraft is because those two guys were very instrumental in my life, and I really can't advocate plugging those guys enough, and I will continue to plug them and cite their work when I'm talking about it, because I think it's important to not just regurgitate information that other people regurgitate, to not just say what, and if I do use a line from someone, I have that kind of memory that, if I don't know their name, I still know I got it from somewhere, and I can most of the time give you a description of where to find it or who it was or what they look like or something to that effect. But, probably 7 times out of 10 I can actually give you a name. But this happens a lot because, when I got into, like Frater said, you notice how they're never just some random dude. Every one of their lives is like, oh, I had this life on this other planet where I was this soldier, or I had this past life where I was Abraham Lincoln, or I had this past life where I was a fucking pharaoh, or I was Thoth, or I was Ra, or I was Diana, or I was Jupiter. Come on, how stupid would that sound? Being that energetic body, planetary body. I mean, could you have? I don't know, maybe, but is it possible? Probably not. But anyways, and then CNN all have the same news lines and the same fucking same news stories they're talking about. You know, even their fluff pieces are the same, give or take, and their headlines are all the same. It was like seeing that. You know, I learned all about how the news was fake and all this. Then all of a sudden I get into the new age spirituality part. I get away from the fear base, and then I see the same thing happening. You know, this is before I even knew about as above, so below. But you know, just thinking back on it now, it's exactly that. It's as above, so below. So these guys are just copying one off another and probably getting it from somebody else. And that's occurred to me in my mind that, you know, I might be putting this information out and someone might be hearing it and using what I have to say. I mean, it's totally possible that there are people out there going on all these different new age sites and listening to what random guys like me or other girls or whoever has to say, and then putting their spin on it and pretending it's theirs. You know what I mean? It's probably more work than they need to do. You know, sitting there meditating, getting this information yourself is probably a hell of a lot easier, but you know, to them that's all they have to do, so that's all they do. And you know, at first I was like, oh, that's gonna be kind of shitty if that happens. You know, someone takes one of my ideas and gets the credit for it, but because I know what I know, because I know everything's a circle, I'm not gonna go and be like, hey, I have the copyrights to that. You can't take my info. Well, yeah, you can, because it's just information. You know, anybody can say what they want. So even if I wanted to find it, to me, it'd just be stupid. But it doesn't matter. If that person gets that information out and it helps people, then that's all that matters. That is all that matters. Is that people become awake or practice this stuff or practice a different sect or branch of the magical community. You know, it doesn't have to be what I'm teaching, but if what I teach gets somebody interested in it and they hear a concept they like, you know, and then decide to go look elsewhere for something that resonates with them better, well then great. It's still a bonus. So yeah, when I got that email from someone who, you know, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what she said to me or anything like that, but so I won't say anything. But you know, yeah, it was pretty fucking cool. It was pretty cool. So if you're listening to this right now, let me know what books you want, and I'll just send them all to you, whatever ones you want. Yeah, I might just do that anyways. I might just send you an email if I have time later with every book I've recited, and you know, if you can download it, then whatever. The links for those books, I don't know. Like, I mean, The Cabalion and Avoiding the Devil are both on YouTube, so all you have to do is write it in YouTube, and you'll get the audiobook. You might even get, you know, Think and Grow Rich is another one you should totally check out if you're trying to get wealth and prosperity. But any of the other ones, the one by Liam Thomas Christopher with the curriculum, yeah, I'll send that to you. I'll send the Financial Sorcerer one to you. I'll send them all to you if you want, and anybody else for that matter. Just send me an email, and they're as good as yours. They're going to be PDFs there, not the actual books, because I don't have them. I only have the PDFs, but yeah, they'll be as good as yours. So, anyways, in a few minutes here, we're going to get into my version of programming water and how I use this for more than just programming water. I use some of these concepts for my egregores and all that. And yeah, so yeah, more to come when Ray come back after this message.
at all. He's free to do whatever he wants, and I'll defend his right to do it, even though I'm not left-hand path. In fact, co-wedding should be the occultist that Michael is trying to debate upon the Bible and everything, considering that he admittedly calls upon dark forces. So he's the one you should be debating, Michael from Christian MGTOW. See, the whole point of what I'm teaching here is that you don't have to do any of that to get results. You don't have to call upon the dark forces and make pacts with devils to get what you want. But I also know that some people are just attracted to that type of thing. Just like some people are attracted to goth music or black metal or Justin Bieber, God forbid. But I'm here trying to demystify the occult to show that Michael from Christian MGTOW's view of the occult isn't the only way. You don't have to do elaborate satanic rituals. All you need to do is get an instruction into your subconscious mind. Because I will make the argument that you'll get just as good, if not better, results. Hi, Prater Xavier, day 6 of egg ritual. $836 into me. Thank you. This Thursday is a day of Jupiter, but is a new moon. Can I still invoke Jupiter for a money spell with good effect on a new moon? Thank you. And I replied, yes, it's preferable closer to the full moon, but you still can. Congrats on the money success. Thank you. So far, I've manifested $25,000 in various forms, a new car, and a lovely rental property 10 minutes from where I work. I've bought all of your systems and practiced regularly. Repetition and good notes are key. Thank you again. You're welcome. And may you continue to have good fortune in all of your operations and endeavors. So see, I don't take issue with co-wedding or any left-hand pathers. What they do is their business. And I will defend their right to do it. It's just that from my perspective, a lot of what they do is unnecessary. And a lot more work than need be. Some of what I've seen has been pretty elaborate. Now, am I saying that the left-hand path and his magic doesn't work? Absolutely not. His magic does work. He would not be in the position that he's in if it didn't. I mean, have you ever seen pictures of him when he first started out? And he's not the greatest speaker. I mean, not that I am or anything either, because I'm not. But the point is the man has come a long way. And in my learned opinion, yes, his magic works. It's just that from my perspective, it's more trouble than it's worth, and it's even more likely to backfire on you. Especially if you've had a Christian upbringing and then try to go left-hand path. Because that upbringing would have programmed your subconscious with that ideology. I hope you're paying attention, Michael from Christian MGTOW. It's one of the reasons I got into ceremonial magic. The magic of Solomon and not left-hand path. Because in the early days, anytime I tried to do quote-unquote dark magic, it would backfire on me. Big time. It would create a conflict in my subconscious programming, having been raised by two extremely strict Christian parents. And so in order for me to do magic, I had to find a system that did not go against and even complemented my Christian upbringing. I hope you're paying attention, Michael from Christian MGTOW. The subconscious matters. And when it comes to the occult, it matters most of all. Now, just because I've had those issues, does that mean anyone who's had a Christian upbringing will have problems when they try to do magic? No. It's just that the odds are elevated. If you weren't raised and subconsciously programmed by a conflicting ideology, such as Christianity, chances are that you will have no problems going left-hand path. The odds are much lower. But regardless of which type of magical system you use, and even the target of your magical endeavors, there's always a chance that your magic will backfire on you, even in the type of magic that we're doing on this channel. Now, it's very rare, because we're not doing any dark magic on this channel, but it can still happen. And one case came across my inbox recently, which is the basis and purpose of this video. So let's take a look at
There's no money, there's no possessions, only obsession. I don't need that shit. Take my money, take my obsession.
All right, and I'm back. I just finished recording the episode of the water magic that I wanted to do for you guys, but the first clip you just heard was something I actually recorded yesterday, and it was going to be three. I was going to record 3 segments, about 12 minutes each, so there's extra room in there, because I get 45 minutes. So 3 at 15 makes 45, right? So 3 at 12 gives me an extra 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the seconds, to add clips and videos of Frederick Xavier or Birch or any books, Greg, anybody and everybody. So that was the plan, but I ended up fucking playing a Frederick Xavier clip prior to it, and just ranting on about a few things that I thought pertained to the water magic, and then it got only into the last 7 to 10 minutes of it actually getting through the processes. But everything throughout the video I said will pertain to it, and depending on where you are in your development, you will take the information and what I said and what I needed to get through to you. You'll take the lessons and you'll extract things from it. And you'll even extract things that I didn't even know I was telling you. I mean, that happens to me all the time. I just listened to Birch's channel. I watched this High Sigil in Plain Sight video, and I got things out of that video that, I never actually heard before, such as something I actually broke down in the video I just made. So check it out whenever you're done listening to this one, because this is going to be the first one I put out, even though it was made second. Well, it was made in between. The video yesterday, the first part yesterday was made first, and then this is made second. But, when you're making a sigil, the idea, it comes from, it says ceremonial magic borrowed sigils from witchcraft, but witchcraft borrowed it from Solomon, which is ceremonial magic. So it's kind of like a cycle there. Anyways, that's not the point, though. It's that King Solomon was originally trying to trap the spirit of stuff. He's got the lesser key of Solomon, the demons, for the different sigils for different demons and different planetary bodies and the sun and all these different things, right? So the idea of their sigil is the same. Now we've changed our perspective. We're like calling on asking for these things to come to us because we don't have them or whatever. But technically, if you want to get down in the nitty gritty, if you take this concept that Birch just helped me realize, and I've watched this video many times because I made many sigils, but I've never actually saw it in this light. You know, and this is kind of like if I was doing therapy, they'd be considered like a breakthrough. What he said was basically, well, that what I just said, you're trying to trap that thing. And I've always understood that when you banish, you got to invoke, and if you invoke, you got to get rid of something. I've taken that to different levels. Like I said, doing the same spell for a whole month long, kind of like an affirmation, but for the first 2 weeks or during the moon's waning, I'm banishing something, and while the moon's waxing, I'm invoking that something. And I'm doing that throughout the whole month. Or every day I do the same spell, and you know, it just works better different times of the month. But for the most part, that's how I did it. So I've always understood that. But I break it down in the video I just made, which is supposed to be about programming water. But basically, you know, if I made an episode about the spirit of money and mammon and all that. Now, the book I reference, Financial Sorcery, says he doesn't think money has a spirit, but it sure acts like a spirit, an energy, and it's definitely energy. So all energy has a consciousnness, technically, too. So whether you want to call it a spirit or just the consciousness, you're asking for that thing, the money, to come to you. So, and then I watched his newest Ask Uncle Birch episode, and the guy was talking about, is it essential to burn sigils or something like that? And that's something I got from Birch. I always burn my sigils when I'm done with them. I have buried them sometimes because if it's something earthy, you're asking, like money is earth, right? Your finances is an earth thing. You're invoking earth to come to you, right? If you're banishing poverty, well, I would still consider that an earth thing. But if it's a mindset, you could do an air thing. If it's an emotional block, it could be a water thing. But anyways, that's besides the point. He says to burn it because you are asking for this something, this sigil, or sorry, this may not be what he said, but this is what I took from his words. That the thing you have in your hand, that sigil, is you asking for money, okay? And if I add this to what one of the episodes that Greg said, when he went to this certain country, they asked him to go there to help them pray for water. And he said, okay, let's pray for the water. And then the guy stopped him and said, let's go get lunch. And then he said, well, how come we're not praying for water? And he said, well, because the minute you say, you ask the universe or the all or God or goddess for the water, you are affirming that there is no water, so you're never going to get water. You have to act as if it already comes. So going by that that concept, that line of thinking, that sigil in your hand is kind of what you don't have. It's what you're asking for, but that's why it's important to make your statement of intent, to me anyways, as if you already have the thing. But anyways, that is still a symbolic representation of what you don't have. So you focus on it because that's what you want to bring to you. And then you take that thing and you burn it, or you bury it, you get rid of it. Technically, you rid it yourself of it, you're putting it into the astral, because yes, in the earth it's going to decay and become part of the earth. In water, it'll eventually get, I don't even know how, but it will get fucked up in the water. You can smoke something by having it wet and just kind of burning it like a cigarette, like an incense, right? I don't know if there's a better way to do that, and if you do know, send me an email teaching me how. But using the elements to get rid of your sigil, okay? And now you've just opened up room for the universe to fill what you need. All right, and this, like I said this in the other video, this Frederick Xavier talks about you trying to get more stuff. You want a new boat, you want more money, whatever the case is. But yet you have a fucking ton of clutter and sharks to get stuff in your brain is through repetition. If you're constantly thinking about something, you know, adding emotion to that will make it come faster. But if you don't add emotion to that, if you just constantly your subconscious mind. So if you're doing your affirmation stuff, listening to that during the day after you've already done your ritual, then you can start thinking about what your ritual, what you're asking for. So it's not going to really help you. It's still going to get in there because then your spell that you did kind of becomes a part of the affirmation, right? Because now you're listening to your affirmations over and over again. You did a spell earlier, so you can do magic that way. But if you want your magic to happen faster, which sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it takes a couple months, sometimes it takes a couple weeks, sometimes it takes a couple days. It's actually normally in threes, not in twos, like I just said, couple. But if you want it to come faster, you need to only play your affirmations. You can I gave a technique in the video there of a different way to play affirmations or do ritual without actually doing it, and it's not the typical one that you do in your head. So check out that after you finish this video. So maybe do that route, or make sure you're putting on right before you go to bed, so that you're putting it in your subconscious. But this will require a little bit of study, because I generally will put on a different affirmation than my spell. Now, not in the beginning. In the beginning, I was doing everything all at the same time to add to it. But now, especially if it's a different part of the month for the waning or waxing, the affirmation I'm doing is going to be something different that I want the subconscious to work on, because I want the subconscious to work on the original spell that I did earlier that day. So while it's working on that, it can also intake the other information. And you can say, well, you're supposed to focus on one thing at a time. Well, I know the subconscious mind is vastly more powerful than our conscious mind, and it can intake many things all at once. But yes, you want your focused attention to be on one thing, but that's your focus, your conscious attention focused on one thing. Whereas your subconscious, we know, can do multiple things at once. We know it can keep our body at the right temperature. We know it can make our organs work good. We know it can make our cells destroy and rebuild and remake things. So to me, in my line of thinking, I can do two different magics at the same time. I can do my spell during the day that I impressed on my subconscious, and then at night I can do my affirmations. Now, because it's two different spells, now it probably going to take more time. But if you're not worried about time, if I generally don't do the Birch way of slamming the book in my face and setting a date. I do close the book and I do keep great notes, but I generally forget about my old spell by doing new spells, by brainstorming of all the things I need now. After I'm done with that spell, and I don't always have to do this because, I've already brainstormed and I have a bunch of different things. So I go to the next thing on my list. All right. And I think of all the different ways I could say this in a positive way without negative speech. I think of all the affirmations I can do. I think about how can I do this with water? How can I do this with fire? How can I do this affirmation? How can I do a hypnosis script? All the different things I've taught you about. I start focusing on that completely. I dive right into it. And I don't even look back on the old spell, because I have absolute faith that's going to happen. I know the universal laws. I know the maxims of laws. I know the Hermetic principles. So I know there's no doubt in my mind that these things are going to happen 100%. So I just move on to the next spell. And I don't worry about it. And anytime I think about it during the day, oh, fuck, it hasn't happened yet, eh? Or, or it's like something sparks it, like, oh shit, maybe this is how it's going to manifest. I'm like, oh, awesome. And I just, I'm so grateful that you did this for me. Fast little fucking visualization in my head, add emotion to it, and then I stop. I just move on. That's how I deal with it, I went into that, how you should have a couple emotional things that happened to you in your life that made you super happy or super loving or super grateful. Have those on the back of your mind, or have those, write them down. Remember them, so that anytime you start thinking about your manifestation, if you are, because you don't want it to stunt you, right? So the best thing to do, if you're starting to focus on it or dwell on it, maybe if you get stressed out about it, is drop that event that happened to you. Your first kiss, your first time you fucked, the first time you made a lot of money, the first time your dad or mom told you they were proud of you, whatever tears you have, it makes you super happy. While you're starting to dwell or think about your magic or what you want to manifest, drop that emotion real fast, so this way you don't fucking hurt it by thinking, oh, it's never going to happen. Put negative emotion in it, drop the happy emotion in there. This can also help you stay into a positive state. Not saying that you should always be in a positive state. There's definitely some flaws in always being too positive and not having negative, it's push and pull. But this is a good technique to keep you that way, having this, whatever tears you up. A couple movies that maybe do that for you, If you're out and about, it's going to be hard to just Netflix a fucking movie or use your data or something like that. But you get the point, right? If you're going to start thinking about your spell. So that's all I wanted to say, because I gave a bunch of techniques using recorders and stuff like that, like I always do. I'm a big component of recording your voice and playing it and listening to it. And it's a good way to communicate to your subconscious mind when you can't communicate your subconscious mind. If you just begin in magic and you're starting to meditate, understand that meditating doesn't have to be done for hours. When you first start, minutes is what you're aimed at. You're aimed at for at least fucking 60 seconds or even 30 seconds. Can you stop the yammering going on by your conscious mind, if you can just shut up and listen to the subconscious mind to hear what it has to say. And it's going to be weird at first. I mean, it was for me. As when I finally started getting my subconscious to stop, I would literally have like, I don't want to say a movie, but I would have like a visualization of people talking that weren't me, that weren't anything that I've ever experienced, a few times in my head. Or I'd have some situation that was, 3 weeks old pop up into my head. And it's like, what the fuck? And then I would lose it because my conscious mind would come back like, why the fuck did it show me that? What the fuck's going on? And I'd be so pumped about some visualization. Like I said before, I've had it where it showed me something I've never seen before. I'm like, that was weird. And then hours later, we're watching a movie and the same thing I was shown was a clip on the movie, And it's like, okay, either I'm supposed to be watching this movie, there's something I need to pay attention to, I don't know, but I was just so pumped and happy that, it's like, oh, fuck, I got some kind of or clairvoyance or something like that, which I don't really, I don't see the future and all that. I have a bang on intuition, though. My intuition is pretty fucking good, and like I said, that's through doing a bunch of different things I've learned, like, your Christ oil that goes up and down your spine, abstaining from sex for those 2 to 3 days a month where the moon is in your sunshine and stuff like that. But anyways, so this is like the introduction video to the Programming Water video. I just wanted to reiterate and say a few things that I maybe forgot to mention. Like I said, anything I didn't mention, but a lot of people talk about for Programming Water, I probably do, unless I specifically said in my episode I just recorded that's coming on after this one, unless I specifically said to not do that, or it doesn't really have use, or you don't really need to do that, I probably do those things, because like I said, I add on to all the old systems and all the old things I've learned that I've picked to add to what I call ceremonial magic, or think about something, if you just keep saying something, you are going to make that thing happen over time, because it's going to get into probably the muse and sound good at all. I really like the idea of playing songs like a radio and all that, but until I can actually, because they said I could use my iTunes and all that shit, because I pay for iTunes, right? But I wasn't able to. Every time I try to put a song on, it doesn't work. So because it said I could play my iTunes and all that, I actually put on iTunes and I play a song that's in my library, and then I just record it. But then you get all the background sound, and it just doesn't sound right. So I'm either just going to speak, or I'm just going to put on clips from other books, or Frater, or Birch, or whoever. That's what I'm going to do going forward now. I'm not going to do any more songs to make it sound like shit or anything like that, or I'm just going to talk and give you information or give you whatever. So yeah. Anyways, I'm going to finish this off by playing the part from Mind and Magic that correlates and goes with the water episode that I made after this. I want to thank Goddess Hellfire, who reached out to me. I sent you all those books. I sent you Outwitting the Devil PDF. I sent you the Kabbalion PDF. I sent you, what did I send you? I sent you Kabbalah, The Great Work of Self-Transformation PDF, which is, all these books are full. I mean, they're 500 pages to 1,000 pages, and they're all there. So I sent you Financial Sorcery, and I sent you, which is by Jason Miller, I think, and then I also sent you his other book, The Sorcerer's Secrets, which also hits on financial sorcery and a bunch of other things. So if there's any more that I mentioned that you wanted, send me another email telling me if you got them or didn't get them. If you need me to resend them, whatever the case is, let me know. And yeah, I'll hook you up. Anybody else that wants them, send me an email. Corey, LeBlanc 1111 at gmail.com. If you want any of the books I talked about, or any other books that I may have that you want, I'll let you know if I have it or not, and I'll send it to you. Maybe I can find it for you. I don't really care. If I'm not doing anything, if I'm busy, I can't. But anyways, yeah, so enjoy, and check out the second episode where I get into the water magic, how to program water, what I did, and yeah, a whole bunch of other crap. Have a great fucking day. See you later. Bye now.
Run away with me. Lost souls in revelry.
God bless. Welcome back to the channel. So, a few of you probably saw my video about Frater Xavier and why Jesus was not a sorcerer, and I made it about Frater Xavier and his video, Christ the Magician. Now, I made it several weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and then I sent it to him and just to see his reaction, his response, and he ended up making an hour-long video response to me. Xavier, I'll address you. I appreciate that you took the time to make a response, and even though you were making fun of me a lot in your video, it was in a good spirit, I think. You know, I was laughing. Your clips of EA... I also appreciate that you asked your followers not to come onto my channel and start insulting me and downvoting videos and stuff. They did anyway, but I appreciate that you asked them not to. So, you gave an hour-long video response to me, chopping up my video and then putting your own responses in. Now, at the end of your video, you said, it's not going to become a back-and-forth debate between me and this guy, Michael. But it actually is.
No, not doing it. Not doing it. Look, all I'm going to say about it is this. We have two totally different perspectives on what occultism is. You think it's Satanism, devil worshipping, and evil spirits carrying out the magic. And from my experience and first-hand knowledge, that's simply not the case. Now, while it's true you can call upon spiritual forces, both good and evil, considered to be both angelic and demonic, which is entirely up to the practitioner, mind you, the vast majority of occult magic is to purposefully and successfully place an instruction into your own subconscious mind. The subconscious will then carry out the instruction and manifest your desire into reality. That's it. That's all we're doing. It's life hacking. Now, just because you Christians aren't purposefully putting instructions into your own subconscious mind doesn't mean that instructions aren't getting in there. You are either manifesting your own reality or others are manifesting it for you. You are doing occult magic, whether you know it or not. See, the word occult only means hidden. It's hidden from you, just beneath the surface, to keep controlling your reality and ultimately your destiny just out of your reach. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between reality and what's imagined. It does not have the ability to reject what is being put into it. It simply has to get past the filter of the conscious mind and be in a language that it understands, which is symbolism. This is what all of the occult rituals are for. We're placing an instruction into the subconscious mind in a language that it understands. That's it. That's all. And I'm telling you this because I don't believe that you've watched any of my other videos, especially the early ones where I've already explained all of this. And so we're not going to have a back and forth where you say that occultism is all devil worship and evil spirits, when that's not the type of magic that we're doing here on this channel. If we can't talk about the subconscious mind, which is our link to God and the divine, then there's nothing to talk about. I don't want to have to cover the same ground we've already covered. So I didn't even watch the rest of the video. It is an hour long, of which I only watched about the first 10 minutes or so. I will say, though, that even though the conversation seemed to be circling the same drain, you did seem even more cordial, more professional in this one, at least for the first 10 minutes. So I applaud you for that and even respect you for it. Maybe I'll get around to watching the rest of it once I get a big enough break around here, which are difficult to come by these days. But moving on.
All right. So, one of my mentors that I've never actually met, but highly respect and am grateful for. That is Frater Xavier. Once again, you've heard his voice here before on the channel. Like I said, I don't want to steal his work or get people to watch my channel through his work or anything like that. That is not the goal. The video I was just playing has a clip after explaining a little bit about water magic. Say I've never actually bought in his fire and water course that he has there, but I'm sure if you do want to successfully do fire and water magic programming, fire and water or whatever, you should check out Frederick Xavier's programs, because I've listened to every single video on his channel, just like Birch. Every single video that Birch has, whether it's his Spreaker videos, his tutorials, his Ask Uncle Birch series, or just his regular witchcraft school stuff, even his liked videos. I've literally watched every single one on both their channels. So I just played that, though, just to get into something, because like I said, I recently received a message from somebody. Goddess Hellfire was her name. Today, this is a new day. I did the first part of this episode yesterday, and today is now a different day. So I wanted to get her name right, or him or her, I'm not sure. Guessing it's a girl. Try to by the picture. But anyways, I just want to put out a point there. These two people, Frederick Xavier and the man you're here speaking, named Michael, they did a video together on Frederick Xavier's channel. Maybe there's one on Michael's channel as well with both of them. I think there is, but I haven't watched that version. The one on Frederick Xavier's channel on the Mystery School series is called The Not So Great Debate, and it's about an hour long, but it's really very good for anybody who comes from a Christian background with Christian programming in their mind. Possibly stunting your magic. I would say you should watch this video, if possible, once a day. And this will help you break that programming in your mind. Okay, if you can record it onto a device and play it, or just listen to your laptop or your phone on it, whatever. I would suggest doing that. And that's what I did. I actually left a comment on that video saying that's what I did. Birch has a video about reprogramming the mind, and that's how he reprogrammed himself to be a public speaker, with recordings, cassette tapes, and timers, and all this. Also, Frederick Xavier gets into how to reprogram your mind, and it's through repetition, or you use sigils or magic, and that's the shortcut, basically, to not take the affirmation route. And if you put the two together, it's even faster, even more important. The only thing about putting the two together is you got to make sure that your spell or sigil isn't exactly what your affirmation is, because by listening to your affirmation consciously, you're thinking about it may make you think about your spell. And if you're thinking about your spell, it's not going to manifest. You need to actually get it out of your conscious mind. It's not like you need to forget it, but forgetting it does help. That's why when you make a sigil, you should either make a bunch of them so you don't know which one's which, and to the point, like for example, I just made 6 sigils, and it's for the new water magic I'm about to do. Because as I'm teaching this and saying this, I like coming up with new ideas, and the best way to come up with new ideas is to, go into my magical practice as a scientist, or as doing an experiment. So, so I created these sigils about a week and a half ago, and I just made them on my parchment, brown paper, kind of like paper bag paper. And I don't even know what they are anymore. Now, I have a spot in a separate book where I magic, because it doesn't sound good. It really doesn't. And what he thinks Michael thinks, and things I do for my water magic, is if you are listening to me and you don't agree with what I say, if you are an experienced, adept practitioner who has many successes, and I say something that may not be accurate or misleading, or in your experience is not going to work, I would extremely appreciate you sending me a message, contacting me somehow, and telling me why and what it is that I said that may be wrong, and the description, because I always want to learn more. I always want to do more. I always want to practice more. I always want to expand my knowledge. Now, if you are just getting into magic and you're believing or listening to someone else and their opinion is different from mine, but you haven't gotten to the point where you're experiencing your manifestations, getting manifestations, whatever case may be, I would ask that maybe you just listen to this with an open mind and take what you need from it, and the rest, just leave for either a later date and time, or, once you prove me wrong, then send me a message saying, look, I thought you were wrong about this, and I went and did it my way, and it actually worked my way, so you should maybe not tell people this. Then I will greatly appreciate that as well. It is. And that's just what I want to say fast before I get into the procedure. And square, big cock, big nuts, or big both, you know what I mean? Jupiterian and Pisces, in my case, means I have big feet. which can also mean that, they say big feet, big whatever else. And, I've already told everybody the size I am and all that. So I am slightly above average. But the point I'm just trying to get at is there's a physical and emotional, energetic signature with all these planets, and they're all in our bodies. So someone's saying that they were Jupiter or being Zeus or something like that. It's cool that they're trying to promote that might be real, because that might help someone's magic if they're praying to Jupiter for money and they think he's Zeus and he's up in the sky with a lightning bolt and he's going to send that lightning bolt down with $1 million to them. Then that might help their magic. But in my experience, these are energies, and unfortunately or fortunately, that's what I believe. So when I pray to Jupiter or do a spell on a Thursday and do a sigil asking for money, Scorpio, which Frederick Xavier talks about, would mean they have either there's multiples of this stuff. And the only reason I'm getting into this is because the things I talk about, what I do with water and stuff like that, is not going to be your typical stuff you see on the internet. If you go right now and look up programming water on YouTube, you're going to see a bunch of people with a glass of water writing down their intention or spell on a piece of paper, putting that water on top of that paper, rubbing their hands, putting it around there and visualizing what they want to happen in that water. And that works. I mean, so many people believe it. So many people have it on the internet and saying that it works. Therefore, if you have complete faith in that, that'll work alone. Just doing that. And I've also already hit it on that if you are a fake occultist and you just say that you have in these experiences and manifesting these things, if a bunch of people actually watch and listen to you and think you've done those things, there could be and maybe power just in that, and you may just get what you were asking for. Because people say, well, he's a liar, but in magic we have to fake it till we make it sometimes. So pretending you already have the money that you're asking for, or the healing that you're asking for, or the mate that you're asking for, is kind of like lying, isn't it? And we've made lying an evil thing, and we can go all day about why that is. And I would definitely make the argument that, well, anything the mainstream or religions have made evil is something that probably could help you. Not all. Like, I'm not saying murdering somebody's going to help you manifest your desires, although it could be if there's an insurance policy that's in your name. But that aside, the lying and not experiencing sex and making sex bad are two examples of things that will liberate you, make you feel free. If you're not ashamed of your body, not ashamed of having sexual thoughts towards other people, especially if you're a single person, if you actually experiment with that and let it loose and use your sexual energy for creativity and not hold it back and think it's bad, then yeah, you're gonna liberate yourself. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna open your sacral chakra, which is the second one after the root, and things are gonna happen for you. And same with the lying. I'm not telling you to go lie and be deceitful to a bunch of people. But if you're going to lie, as in fake it till you make it, pretending something has already happened, acting as if it's already happened, coming online saying something has already happened and getting other minds to believe it, then it's going to be beneficial to you. So that aside, that's all I wanted to hit at was because I want to just set the precursor, set the stage for what I'm about to say, because it's going to be different from what anybody else says. So if anybody says, well, that's not going to work, well, the first thing I would say is to just try it. And if you really don't believe it, well, then just don't do it. I mean, you don't have to do what I do. But like I hit on before, or maybe I didn't hit on it before, but magic, you can create ideas. You can expand the old concepts and all that. The trouble and things I've learned from Birch was, because Birch will come on and he'll be able to tell you he'll see people doing things and they don't know why they're doing it, or they leave certain steps out. And if you're doing magic and you're changing what already works differently and trying to promote that, then that's probably not right. That's not allowed. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. But I wouldn't go on a mass scale and tell people to change what already works, because what already worked has power, has energy in it. You know what I mean? So casting your circle, and saying the God names and doing all these things, if you're going to not keep some of those steps out, if you don't know any better, your magic may still work, but for the most part, it's probably not. So keeping the same old traditions that have been done forever, not changing or altering those or keeping steps out, is important. When you cross that line, that's when I think the criticism comes and some of the fighting comes and all that. And like I said, that could be done intentionally by someone who's either a Christian or someone who's in the occult and doesn't want people practicing the occult. So they come on here and tell you different information so you don't get in the occult. Or if you do, your manifestation doesn't work. So you have to either give up or go back to the drawing board, and it's either prolongs you actually getting what you want, or it discourages you. Now, if you take the ideas that are already given and you expand and add to it in a way that still respects the original intention and the original meaning and the original power and the original process, if you expand on that and add things from other sections as multiple layers upon layers. When you're in the neophyte grade, self-doing, saying, whether it's actually you doing it or you just going through it in your head, either way, recording you drawing that circle, saying what you're doing. You know, it could be on video if you want, but for the most part, I would say just do it with your voice on a recorder on your phone. Drawing your circle, doing the Kabbalistic cross, thanking the elements, elementals, watchers, archangels, all the divine people that have come to your spell, asking them to come, basically, invoking whatever you want to invoke. Well, doing your lesser banishing prior to that. Sorry, we're talking about the neophytes. So yeah, just doing your lesser banishing of the pentagram, and then doing your middle pillar, and then going in and thanking and telling them that the candle you lit and the incense you lit is the offering for them, just because you're grateful for everything they've allowed you to have. You're grateful for all the knowledge you have. Once again, faking it till you make it. If you're just starting, maybe you don't have that intuition, but if you start thanking them for having that intuition, then they're going to give you that intuition. If you act like you already have it, then you'll get it. Okay, and then you do your lesser banishing, your Kabbalistic cross. You tell the peace out to the elements and elementals. You tell them to go back without harming. Free from harm to any beings you come in contact with, and bless all you come in contact with, something to that effect. I tell the watchers, this is a line from Birch. The other line was from Frater and Birch. If you tell the watchers, what did Birch say? This is the same one I use too. I'm drawing a blank there right now. Oh yeah, stay if you will, go if you must, but between us both there shall always be perfect love and perfect trust. Saying a statement to that effect, making it rhyme. There's power in rhyming. I do a lot of rhyming myself. And then closing your circle, even doing, a protection bubble, calling energy from above and below you, and then, I think I went through that, but anyways, it's in the curriculum book I talk about that Frater has told us about. So recording that process in the neophyte, playing that at your altar when you're not there with a candle lit, maybe with a circle of salt around the device. Now, I like using a recorder for this, or if I only have my phone, I put it on airplane mode so there's less radiation, maybe turn off the screen completely, like the brightness and all that, or have it on lock. And it's not... this is going to be one of those things where people will be like, what the fuck, he's letting his phone do that? But it's something you did, you recorded, and you're playing there in front of your altar. And technically that candle lit all the time, that white candle you have lit all the time on your altar, is keeping the watchers there. And they know that, you're in somewhere else right now doing some mundane crap. But technically your spirit, your words, your essence, your soul is up here doing a ritual. You're supposed to do a ritual once a day. Now, I'm not saying to replace your ritual with this, but I'm saying it helps. It's huge for speeding up the depolarization process and all that, because it shows your commitment, your dedication to magic. If you're doing it to be lazy, so you don't actually have to go to your altar, you're just letting that play all day long over and over again on a loop, then it could be seen as disrespectful. But if you're adding it to your magic and you're doing it in a sense like you go to your altar once a day and you do that ritual, and then when you're laying down on the couch before bed, you do a ritual in your head. This is what I've done during my neophyte. And then also playing that there at your temple whenever you're gone or too busy to do something, maybe in between those two times. In my experience, when I was trying to manifest something, it didn't matter. I mean, aside from my first one, that was just law of attraction before I got into ritual magic. The more I did the neophyte ritual, the neophyte thing, either it was in my head or actually in the physical at my altar, the more I did that a day, whether it was 2 or 3 times, it sped up. It speeds up the manifestation from happening. I don't know why. I don't know how. And maybe it's just from that middle part saying how grateful I am for that thing happening, reaffirming that it already happened 3 times a day opposed to just the 1 time a day. And this way, if you did it 3 times one day and you forgot to do it one day, at least you already had done it, 2 or 3 times. But it speeds up the process by doing that over and over again. So I truly believe in doing that as an added thing to do, because you may not be able to do your ritual in the flesh as loud as you want. In your head you can do as loud as you want, but it's really not saying it out loud. But if you record something, you have to do it low. If you haven't had it on full blast when you recorded it, you could turn that fucker up as loud as you want, so everything can hear it. Not only that, I mean, you can be invoking a spirit, and then that spirit's somewhere else invoking something. It puts you on a different level, in my mind anyways, because spirits, energies, deities and all that, they can be everywhere at once. And this is kind of like doing that with yourself. You're in the mundane, but at the same time, you're asking the forces above to help you out. You're making yourself more than just a mortal, more than just a human. Okay? This is the kind of stuff that I'm going to be getting into now. And it's not going to be the same crap you hear over and over again. It's going to be the little tweaks that I do. I'm not a chaos magician per se, but I took Uncle Birch. I took Freak Phil's advice, and I'm recording. But yeah, thank you. I'll be down soon. Sorry about that. I took Freak Phil's advice, Uncle Birch's advice, and I looked up Phil Hine, and the egregore story he told me to look up, I fucking loved, and I read his books and other chaos magicians' books. I already told you guys about Grant Morrison. He's live on stage telling everybody about the truth and how we can attack the counterculture through using magic, and that's basically what I'm trying to do as well. One of the reasons I'm trying to do this is to teach everybody how to take back their mind, how to take back their life, how to get what they want, and help us, because if everybody is getting what they want, they're all happy, they're all in a place of truth. Well, just by not focusing on the crap and the crap sandwiches we have out there, all the bullshit, all the bad, evil groups that are trying to suppress us. If everybody stops listening to that bad media and starts working on themselves, self-transforming from within, then we're not going to have those problems anymore. Yeah, they might still be there. They might still be on the internet. But if nobody's looking at them, they're going to get taken down. They're not going to get hits. They're not going to get energy. You know what I mean? The more hits you get, the more energy you get, technically, because more people are focusing on it. But anyways, this is how I want to help change the world. And what I'm going to get into is all these different tweaks I've done, kind of, in the practice of chaos magic. You should really look up chaos magic, and that's what they do. They take concepts that work, and they beat it to death, and they add to it, and they alter it, and they change it. Sorry, they don't change it, but they add to it, Phil talks about how Phil Hine made a whole, I think I said this before in a previous episode, he made a whole, it would be like a spirituality, like a religion, and all the characters from Star Trek are deities. If you want to kick someone's ass, you call Kirk. If you have a computer problem, you call on Scotty. Because everybody who's watched Star Trek loves Star Trek, who's still watching the old episodes of Star Trek, who's put energy. And even just the people like me who just know the characters because I watched the newest movies that came out, but I never really watched Star Trek. I watched a lot of Star Wars, but now Star Trek. I know those guys are real. So from the people that just have, okay, I know who that is. I saw the movie and all that. Once again, your subconscious mind is no difference between real or fake. So your subconscious mind also saw that movie. And if you're calling on those spirits, well, what do they know? Well, they know that Captain Kirk's not scared of anybody. Even going up against a Vulcan that is going to destroy him, he's going to do his best to try to outthink him. He's gonna overthink and analyze and say, okay, well, what's Spock going to know? When I do this, he's going to think these 4 fucking things. So he's got to think of 7 different things. You know what I mean? He's going to overanalyze. So if you want to really outsmart somebody or kick someone's ass, you're going to call on him, If you want the characteristics of Spock, then you can call on him. Like I said, a computer problem, Scotty, whatever, Captain Aurora or Lieutenant Aurora, whatever. You know what I mean? There's power in those people, in those beings. But anyways, I'm very much off topic. I haven't gotten to anything about programming water, which is pretty shitty. So I need to get into that right about now. So all the traditional things that people do for programming water is valid and it works. And I do use that thing. Now, I don't use natural spring water or anything like that. I mean, maybe it is technically that, but I use the water from the rain. Outside. I have bins outside, and those bins are the water I use. Now, before I do anything with that water, I have something that's already consecrated. Like right now, I have actually 5 or 6 different candle holders / water holders that I've cleaned, made pure, and that are now for holding water. And I've consecrated those in a previous ritual. for exactly this procedure, for this purpose. All these things are for now is for holding this water, this programmed water. That this water is going to be programmed by me. Now, before programming this water, I make the distinction that this bin, this holder, is a representation and is a part of me, because there is no degrees of separation between us, nature, and everything around us. There is no degrees of separation with everything. And this is going to come into importance whenever we're dealing with the water directly. But this consecrated thing is a symbolic representation of my subconscious mind. Therefore, my sigil that I named my subconscious mind, okay, I named my subconscious mind. I have a video about that, the importance of that, how it works for protection and all these other things, okay? Once again, thinking outside the box, help me out there. I made a sigil for that name, so that all I have to do is put that down on things, and it represents my subconscious mind. Now, if you ever see that and you're trying to work against me, understand that I'm not going to put my sigil out there for anybody to see after telling you how important it is for no one to know your magical name. I'm going to give you a different version that isn't actually my name. But anyways, so I put that sigil on that, okay, and I have reconsecrated it with that on there. However, I don't always do that, and it's not necessarily needed, because like I said, I've programmed that sigil to be whatever that sigil's on, that thing, whatever I choose to write on it or do with it. It is extremely powerful to record after you consecrate. That's there on your altar. It technically will keep its energetic signature or whatever, but that's debated as well. That's all up to you on what you believe in, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, so then the next step is putting the water in after your sigil is either on it, or putting your sigil on it and then putting the water in it. From there, what I would do is I would get a harmonious frequency, from YouTube, from wherever, 432 hertz. If you're going for healing, health and healing, there are specific ones that are, below the 432 that, for regenerating, I think is like a 200 and some hertz one. Do one that's in line with you. But there's like 432 and 528 for everything from sleeping problems to getting rid of negativity, for money, and truth be told, those things are just harmonious, and they're just going to help in general. They're not necessarily actually going to bring you what they state they're going to bring you, but that's for your mind to see and know that, okay, this is going to bring me money. There's power in that belief alone, and by seeing that over and over and doing that, that alone will bring you that money. Now, that hertz, that frequency is harmonious, and it does help. If you ever watch the 440 hertz versus the 432 hertz, whenever they're using sand or little metallic pieces or anything like that, magnets, whatever it is, water, whenever they play the 440, the water or the sand or the metallic pieces look terrible, look destructive. It's not nice. Whereas the 432 and all these other harmonious frequencies, they're very beautiful. They make pictures, they make designs, they're making all these different beautiful patterns. It's truly eye-opening when you see this. And you can say, well, how can music help? And I've went through this before too. We are 70% water in our body, which is going to be helpful in a bit as well. We are 70% water in our body. Do you want your water in your body being exposed to that 440, especially after you've seen what that 440 hertz is doing to the metallic, to the sand, to the water? No, you want the water in your body to be at its best. So you play the 432 whenever your daughters are going to go in a bath. You want that bath water to be perfect, in line with their body. Because if their body is in that water, they're absorbing that water through themselves. You absorb way more water through yourselves than you do ever drinking. But anyways, so that's what I do. I get that water even more harmonious, because there's debated views on they're spraying the skies, chemtrails and all this, and it's getting into the rain and all the pollution in the ocean, and the ocean water evaporates, becomes a cloud, and then pisses down on us. It's a continuous cycle, right? So, and your mountain rain and all that shit basically comes from the same places and stuff like that. Now, there could be mountain rivers that have been there forever, but once again, things get to it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that's the point of doing that. I'm just trying to put it in harmony with my body and with, that frequency, because I am on that frequency, because I listen to that music once a day as well. So I'm getting that water in tune with my body. After I do that, after I program that, I will do a ritual, okay? And in that ritual, I will state my intention looking into that glass. I will put the sigil or the spell. It could be just words, but underneath the glass, or I will take a specific marker and put it on the glass. After it either manifests or I think it hasn't manifest, I would, if it's on a piece of paper, I write it in pencil, and I would put it actually in that water at a certain point. If I think it doesn't work this way, the pencil can go into the water. It's the same reason why we burn our sigils. We're asking for the spirit of. Well, everything has a spirit, right? Even the money you're asking for technically has like a spirit, a thought form attached to it, and you are trying to ask for that spirit to come to you, And so by burning that sigil, you are, telling the astral, okay, so this is the thing I want. I want it to come to me. While you have that thing you want in your hand, it can't actually come to you while you're focusing on it. So by getting rid of it, by burning it, you're opening a hole for nature to bring that to you because you want to fill that hole. That's the same reason why when we banish, we invoke. If you want something out of your life, you have to get rid of something first. As the wife Raider says, if you have trouble bringing in money, maybe it's because you have too much shit around the house. You clean up and get rid of some of the clutter, then you're freeing up space to bring stuff in. It all comes back to this circle idea. So anyways, by getting rid of that sigil, by getting rid of that thing, and technically those words are you're capturing it on the piece of paper, but those words, if it goes off into the water, then it's actually in the element, just like using fire, just like using smoke for air. You're using this water. Now, people might say to dress it, put stones in the water, put herbs in the water, and in my experience, I don't do that. I have put stones around it, herbs on the outside. I treat the glass like the candle, and I treat the water like the fire. You don't actually, you will burn stuff with the fire, therefore you can dip things in there like a basil leaf or something like that, where that water has a chance to touch it. But by putting that, it'd be like putting the basil leaf right on the wick of the fire, and you're just going to extinguish that fire. So you got to treat the water as a holy object, as the thing that you're trying to program it, and it has a consciousness. It has been proven that water is awake. There's so many experiences with water, with like the 440 and the 432 hertz, or just water being told that you're evil, you're bad, and water you're good, or writing a word on different rices that were cooked with different waters, or just putting a word on waters like hate and love, and seeing the water mold and go bad, and seeing the other water staying exactly the same. So this water has a consciousness, just like your body, your cells, the water in your body has a consciousness. So what you're doing is essentially you're telling this water on your altar with that message below it that you are the same water that's in my body. Okay? And instead of trying to program directly the water in your body, because you can't really take the water out of your body until, there are ways to probably do this, but this is more experienced stuff above my pay grade. So what you're doing is an as above, so below thing. You're taking outside water, the water from the sky, from source, and you're putting it on your altar, and you're saying you and me are connected. And all the extra steps I just told you about with your sigil putting on it and programming it, you're basically just overstating and proving that this water is connected to you. So that sigil is the representation of your subconscious mind. You consecrated a thing and saying it is your subconscious mind, and you made a sigil for your subconscious mind to understand, and you're putting it under that water. So not only is that sigil going in your head by you seeing it, it's also being programmed by the water. You're telling this water that you love it, and this is what you want it to do, and that this water is part of you, and you're treating this water holy. So don't just go shove a bunch of shit in it and disrespect that element. Likewise, don't treat water like shit, or fire like shit, or smoke like shit. Be respectful of these elements if you want them to respect you back. And if you're doing a ritual with this, make sure you invoke water. And when you're doing your ritual, you banish that element away. You don't leave the elements lying around. You don't just leave water on the floor. It'll fuck up your hardwood or your carpet or get mold and shit like that. You don't leave fire lit. Everybody knows why. You don't want to leave a bunch of smoke in your house because it smokes up the balls and fucks up the paint and chokes people and can kill you. People have died from too much smoke inhalation. So these elements are beautiful and dangerous at the same time. So you don't leave them lying around. You got to think about that with your magical practice is the same. Watchers are okay to leave around because they're going to watch you and see if you're worthy of whatever. I don't really know their entire purposes. I know what people have told me their purposes are. But personally, my opinion, I haven't completely developed it yet. Every time you have a ritual, so I would use the salt, my sigil under there. I would play with a recorder. Now, putting a recorder on your altar, it's not always a good thing to do, because if you do everything with this recorder, if it's not just for spiritual stuff, then whatever. But you can consecrate it. But if you're using your phone, I wouldn't suggest putting your phone on your altar. You want to have respect for this altar. You don't want anything disharmonious to go to that phone. And truth be told, we don't know if the energy from the phone is killing us or harming us. There's so many studies that have done it, says it does. people having their phone in their pockets, males, have reduced our sperm count, stuff like that. You can say, well, that may not be the truth, that might be from anything else, and you could be right. There's no way of knowing unless you've done the experiment yourself. You're just taking someone's word for it. And like I went into before, there's a lot of science out there that isn't peer reviewed anymore, going by what Greg Braden has taught me. A lot of science is just put something out there and let the masses chew on it and see how they fucking take it, and then they just keep telling everybody over and over again, and it gets worse and worse from every fucking mouth. Or if it's a good story, it gets better from every mouth. But anyways, I would play my affirmations, what I want that water to do, what that sigil's intention is, over and over on or by close to where that water can hear it, and I have taped recorded songs in between, or had the laptop in the other part of the room with the Wi-Fi off and any other interconnection off, the power down, but playing music, or have the TV on. Unfortunately, the TV I can't turn stuff off. But anyways, have the 432 playing in the background, keeping that water nice and harmonious and in tune with my body. And while you do this, make sure you keep listening to 432 as well, and listen to your affirmations as well. You're making a connection between you and the water. There's this no separation where that water is you. Technically you can drink this water after. I don't. I bring it outside. I pour it into the grass. I pour it back into an ocean or something like that. This way it'll get evaporated and go back in the sky. I don't like to think in those terms, because then it could make the magic take even longer to come to me. But it is what it is. You do what you want to do with that part. Do your own studies and figure out what you want to do. But yeah, I would literally let thing play with my affirmations. And if you want to take it to a higher step, before you get to those affirmations, record your ritual. Once again, like I said, record you doing everything as if you're right there talking to the water, and you are, because you have done it once and you're just replaying it over and over again. When we ask for things from the divine, we're told to fake it till we make it, because technically we already have what we have. On some different timeline, some different reality, whatever, we technically already have what we already have. So by you recording this thing, well, you've already done that, and you're just doing it over and over again. You're just tapping into a different time frame or whatever, however you want to look at it. You can look at it like the way I just said, that you don't have something, so you get rid of something so that thing can come to you. But technically, you're able to bring anything to you. So anyways, to keep your ritual, and then in the middle where you ask to be grateful and all that, you thank the gods, the deities, and all this, and then you say what you want to say to that water in that way. But anyways, I've done that with the water. Now, after I made 2, and it was supposed to be concealed where no one could see it. Now, those have been retired. However, they were there for the longest time. To the point where I had dead animals at my house. 2 dead squirrels that I had to bury, and a dead fucking rabbit in the yard. Things that may be perceived to be a harm, that are dying. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if that was me. I don't know if that's a coincidence. And I hope to God it wasn't me that did that. But, it's pretty shitty. But that's how much power these things have. And if the one's identity further, make it better, make it bigger, make it last longer, do whatever it takes. Don't take the old practices and get rid of them, or think you can skip steps. Do all the necessary steps and then add to it. Make it your own. Make it something that's in line with you. Because if you think about something and you have an idea, well, don't go all in your head and think it's stupid and think other people might think it's stupid. It doesn't matter what other people think. You got these thoughts for a reason. If you're in a place of creativity and love, then your thoughts are probably going to help you. They're probably going to serve you. But if you're in a place of fear and doubt, well, then yeah, those thoughts you may not want to run with, because those thoughts aren't going to serve you. They're there to keep you in that thing. That's something I'm going to go over probably on maybe the Magic on a Budget, or maybe another show on here. But it's that if you're in a love and a fear or love and a creative state, then the thoughts you're getting are probably good. So don't let your ego or any other outside sources like kids or wife say, oh, that's stupid, or that's not going to work, especially if you haven't finished it yet. It's one thing if you're asking their opinion on a picture or something like that and they don't really like it. But if you haven't even started, you just tell them an idea, they can't grasp. They didn't see what you saw in your mind, and as you're doing it, you're going to get more thoughts and more creativity. So the initial idea you have is going to keep expanding. So don't shoot it down before you even try it. But if you are in the other place, the fear, the lack place, then yeah, don't fucking go with it. But anyways, that was my episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. Have a great fucking day.
Child is slowly silence. Who are we mistaken? But you see, it's not me, it's not my family. In your head, they are fighting. Another mother's breaking heart is taking over. When the violence causes silence, we must be mistaken. It's the same old theme in 2018. In your head, they're still fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their guns and their drones. In your head, they are dying. What's in your head? In your head, stop it, stop it, stop it. What's in your head? In your head, stop it, stop it, stop it.
Purchased your 4-program series and have used candle magic as well as water magic. Some strange things have happened since I feel they are related to the spells. Number 1. First, I did a water spell writing on a glass bottle. Following your instructions, I said and wrote things on the glass of a sexual nature to attract a mate, and then drank the water after 24 hours. The following morning, someone spray painted a penis with a line across the door of my car, when supposedly that doesn't ever happen in the neighborhood I live in. I was able to get off the spray paint, and since then, nothing like that has happened, and I haven't seen anyone else's car vandalized like that in my area. I have attached the photo below. 2. I did a purity spell very casually on a white candle, asking to purify the energies in my body and thoughts in my mind. The candle is still burning as I write this. This morning I left my apartment to go to work and came back later this evening to find my bathroom sink filled with a thick black sludge with some splattered on the counter. I cleaned it up, but I have no idea how something like that could happen. It's like whatever was in the pipes just came right up. My question to you are, what do these things mean? Are these things negative responses to my magic? Do things like that happen to you or your customers? Not typically, no. As I said, this is a very rare occurrence. But when they do backfire, yours is a prime example of the type of things that can happen. So we need to understand the reasons why magic backfires. And the big one that can take many forms is a conflict in your subconscious programming. We've already covered one of those, such as being upraised in a conflicting religion or ideology, such as Christianity, for example, and then performing magic, which conflicts with that programming. Now, I've done everything that I can possibly do on this channel to demystify the occult, to keep this type of thing from happening, by explaining how the subconscious mind works. But if you listen to people like Michael from Christian MGTOW, that it's all of the devil, that it's all evil spirits, you're more likely to have these things backfire on you, especially when it comes to the novice, the beginner, the dabbler, the people who are unsure of themselves when they're first starting out. So, number 1, do you have any conflicting religious programming that you need to take care of first? Number 2, some people are just subconsciously programmed to lose. And it's not as uncommon as you may think. You know, somehow, some way, they were literally programmed that whatever they touch falls apart or turns to crap. They were programmed with the core belief that they don't deserve success. I know this because, once again, my father programmed me with it. I got a double whammy. When I was growing up, he would say things over and over like, "You're useless, you're worthless, you'll never amount to anything." I was never given any encouragement. And so from early on, I was set upon the path of the loser. I have witnessed what would otherwise be a for sure thing literally fall apart in front of my eyes. Now, if you're in this situation, it's a very real problem, and one I intend to address in an upcoming program. But for now, if you're in that situation, the only thing that you can really do is hypnosis. You have to get to the root of the problem, and the problem is in a subconscious core belief that you have. It's not your fault, it's what's been placed there by is in a subconscious core belief that you have. It's not your fault, it's what's been placed there by others. All of our early subconscious programming when we were kids is not our fault. It was put there by other people. Thankfully, now that we're older, we can choose what to put in our subconscious. Unless you're the Christian debaters who want you to just continue to let other people do it and hope for the best. Reason 3. You failed to either cleanse the environment or protect yourself. Many of you may recall the story when my girlfriend peered into my temple and then said something inappropriate, and then I got angry because I had to cleanse the whole entire temple. And a lot of people may think, well, that's just overkill, but it's to prevent things like this from happening. It's the reason we banish, it's the reason we censor incense, it's the reason we asperge holy water around the temple and put up circles of protection to banish and prevent any unwanted energies from influencing our operations. We keep our ritual space sacred and clean. We keep our ritual tools consecrated and clean. And if you're doing all of this and you're still having magic backfire on you, then it's not the environment that's the problem. It would most likely then be a conflict in your subconscious programming. Or, reason number 4, you targeted a specific person with your magic, and they had their protection and defenses up and got a backlash sent to you. This is especially true in cases of baneful magic or magic that is going to go against the will of the person that you targeted. This is even more especially true if the targeted person was another magical practitioner. Although some people with no magical experience whatsoever can have some pretty strong defenses, such as ancestral and guardian protection. Always be careful of who and what you're targeting with your magic. Reason number 5, you're just doing it wrong. It could be that the magic was simply performed wrong. Now, this person said that they followed my instructions and wrote something of a sexual nature on the water. I don't ever recall saying write sexual things on the water. When it comes to programming water, you need to keep things extremely simple, preferably summed up in one word. So I would be very interested to hear exactly what was written. If you make it too complex or more than one thing, it confuses it and it doesn't work right. So these are the top 5 reasons that magic backfires. So you'll need to figure out which, if any of these, that you are having issue with. The good news, though, is even though your magic's backfiring, you're seeing that you're having an effect. It's not the intended effect that you wanted, but it's still having an effect. So you need to figure out what's throwing it off and what you need to do to correct it. Obviously, the more difficult ones to correct are the ones that deal with a conflict in your subconscious core beliefs. I do plan on addressing it in a future program, however. The other ones, not cleansing the space, well, that's up to you. Not targeting others, that's certainly on you. And doing it wrong, following instructions, is always on the person performing the magic. Again, having magic backfire on you is pretty rare, but if it does, it's typically one of these 5 reasons that are the culprit. If when performing magic you feel as if you're doing something wrong or against God or something taboo, it's a conflict with your subconscious core beliefs that were programmed into you when you were a child and are therefore more likely to have things backfire on you. This is why I do my best to demystify the occult for you, and also why I made an hour-long video debating Michael from Christian MGTOW. People sent me messages asking me why I wasted my time doing so. This is why. There was a reason for it after all. See, if you believe that magic is of the devil and evil, it's not going to work for you unless you are arguably left-hand path and embrace evil. It's much like if you believe that all rich people are greedy and evil. You are not going to be rich. The subconscious will always steer you away from that which you have defined as evil or bad. Everyone thinks of themselves as the hero, as being on the side of right, of good. Even villains think of themselves as the good guy, that they're somehow in the right and justified with what they're doing, even if their ends justify their means. And the evidence is there. You'll see that the people who are complaining that the monetary system is corrupt and evil are the people without any money. The exception to that would be anyone who is making money off of selling you that belief, such as conspiracy theorists. Now, I'm not saying that it's perfect. There are certainly flaws with the monetary system, but it's the one we have. There are good things about it too, but if you have defined it as being corrupt and evil and bad, your subconscious will keep you from having money. It will literally steer you away from it. Now, is there a reason that organized religion wants you to define magic, the ability to program your subconscious mind with instructions to manifest your desires into reality, as evil? Of course, because if you knew how to do it, you wouldn't have any reason to go to them and listen to them preach at you. And if you're not there to listen to them preach, they can't pass around the offering plate and sustain their way of living. They literally depend and live off of your fear and ignorance. So, speaking of preaching, I think that'll about do it for today. I'm going to get off my soapbox now, as my girlfriend calls it, when I get on rants, as I think I've covered my points pretty well. I do wish everyone the best, even the ones I disagree with, and I will see you next time very soon. Take care.
I tear my heart open, I sew myself shut. My weakness is that I can't do much, and my scars remind me that the past is real. I tear my heart open just to fail. I'm drunk and I'm feeling down, and I just wanna be alone. I'm pissed 'cause you came around. Why don't you just go home? 'Cause I channeled all your pain, and I can't help you fix yourself. You're making me insane. All I can say is I tear my heart open, I sew myself shut, and my weakness is that I can't do much, and our scars remind us that the past is real. I tear my heart open just to fail. I tried to help you once against my own advice. I saw you going down, but you never realized that you're drowning in the water. So I offered you my hand. Compassion's in my nature. Tonight is our last stand. I tear my heart open, I sew myself shut, and my weakness is that I can't do much, and our scars remind us that the past is real. I tear my heart Why don't you just go home? Cause you're drowning in the water. And I tried to grab your hand, I left my heart open, but you didn't understand. But you didn't understand. Go fix yourself. I can't help you fix yourself, but at least I could say I tried. I'm sorry, but I gotta move on with my own life. I can't help you fix yourself, but at least I could say I tried. I'm sorry, but I gotta move on with my own life. I tear my heart open, I sew myself shut, and my weakness is that I can't do much, and the scars remind us that the past is real.
Hey, we're coming to the conclusion of this first 2-hour show and counting. Like I said, I'm not going to do the full 3 hours. Yeah, so I just wanted to add a couple things. When I was talking about the Frater, the not so good debate, I didn't play any clips from that video. Like I said, I don't want to play all his stuff on here because I don't want him to think I'm disrespecting him. So I want him to, I want to promote his stuff as much as possible. So everybody should go over to his channel and learn from him and from Birch and, buy both their programs and learn that way. I was trying to get into it and I probably lost my train of thought, but I wrote on a message saying that I was going to watch that video once a day, for like 30-some days, maybe even more, which I don't know if I did it for the 30 days, but I did watch that video once a day because it was training me, it was training my mind to release and lose any of the subconscious programming I may have had through the Christian upbringing and the beliefs. Like, I'm not against Christianity. I believe the message that they're trying to teach in the Bible could have been a good one, and then a lot of it got altered and a lot of things got switched to attack and directly pointing out certain people and stuff like that. So I don't believe in how it's been changed, how it's used to hold people down and stuff like that. But like I said, the Bible is powerful, and both I don't know if Birch will said that, but maybe he has said he uses specific parts from there, and he has talked about things. I know Mind and Magic does use it as well. But anyway, so them two guys debated on that, and another thing I wanted to point out was the fact that, in the video, on the clips I did play, you heard Frater Xavier say he didn't listen to his video, but he sounded more cordial, and that he thanks him for that, and he even respects him. So this is two people who the Christian thinks magic is of the devil and you're calling on demonic forces, and Frater is trying to tell him, no, we're just programming your subconscious mind. People do that, but he does not do that, and they have not got along and haven't agreed. But he even goes as far as saying he respects him, and even the other guy thanked him before the video because he did try to tell him for his followers not to go and harass him and shit like that. So I just wanted to point out that mutual respect between two very different people is something that I really enjoy seeing. I know it's not, there's not a lot of that maybe in our, we actually have fighting in between different sects within, witchcraft and ceremonial magic. But anyways, it's nice to see stuff like that when it's pointed out, and I like to point it out, and it's one reason that I really enjoy Frater Xavier. Now, as for the sigils that I put under the water, so like I said, I never purchased Frater Xavier's products. Especially the one he spoke about, and he said to keep it to one word on the water. Now, I have done that, and that's what I started off the video with saying is probably the best bet. However, for the sigil, when I did it, I charged the sigil, the regular way, through meditating until I couldn't see it anymore, getting into my subconscious mind over and over again, through, the orgasm way, and there's also the pain way. And then I put it underneath the water, if you're wondering how to do it. And then I'm pretty sure, once again, I may have done the same procedure after that I did before putting the sigil underneath the glass of water. So, and just in case I didn't hit on that. However, the point of the recording, playing it at the water, is to basically give the water's consciousness to hear the affirmations. Kind of like you do with your mind, you're doing it with the water's mind. So that's the only things I wanted to say. Anyways, now that's the end of the episode, so I will leave it at that. And I hope everybody enjoyed. Any questions, anything you guys want to see or hear, don't be afraid to hit me up. You want some books? Just gotta ask. Ceremonial Witch, out.
Yeah, here we go for the 100th time. Hand grenade pins in every line. Throw them up and let something shine. Going out of my fucking mind. Filthy mouth, no excuse. Find a new place to hang this noose. String me up from atop these roofs. Knot it tight so I won't get loose. Truth is you can stop and stare. Let myself out and no one cares. Dug the trench out, lay down there with a shovel up out of reach somewhere. Yeah, someone pour it in. Make it a dirt dance floor again. Saying prayers and stop it out when they bring that chorus in.
I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away, just to throw it away. I bleed it out.
Go, stop the show. Choppy words in a sloppy flow. Shotgun opera, lock and load. Cock it back and then watch it go. Mama help me, I've been cursed. Death is rolling in every verse. Candy paint on his brand new hearse. Can't contain him, he knows he works. Fuck, this hurts, I won't lie. Doesn't matter how hard I try. Half the words don't mean a thing, and I know that I won't be satisfied. So why try ignoring him? Make it a dirt dance floor again. Say your prayers and stop it out when they bring that chorus in.
I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away, just to throw it away. I bleed it out. I've opened up these scars. I'll make you face us. I pull myself so far. I'll make you face us. No! I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away, just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away, just to throw it away. I bleed it out.
Let's keep it true. I had a bad year. I'm going through. I've been knocked out, beat down, black and blue. She's not the one coming back for you. She's not the one coming back for you. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. It takes disaster to learn a lesson. You're gonna make it through the darkest night. Some people betray more than class treason. Wanna make everything alright. Woo! They don't faze me, even if I look and act really crazy. I won't wait till she betrayed me. Now my vision is no longer hazy. I'm very lucky to have my crew. They stood by me when she flew. I've been knocked down, beat down, black and blue. She's not the one coming back for you. She's not the one coming back for you. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my